Hello, welcome to the Steam Release Podcast. I'm your host, Dewey Bear, and joining me today, the Queen of Hearts herself, Rhodey Pie.
Hello! Thanks for having me on.
Yes, it's always a pleasure. I always look forward to these Sundays because it just gets to... I don't have anyone like IRL that I can just talk about games with, so it's nice to be able to do that. So
yeah, completely.
It's nice. And of course, in case you forgot, which I hope none of you did, because that would be very bad, today is Valentine's Day, so I hope you have your gifts ready. Or at the very least, you're frantically opening up another browser to, like, search, make reservations, because, that's the day, in case you missed it. I feel like I would have missed that it was Valentine's Day just because I haven't been to stores really, and so that's kind of what reminds you is you go into a store and everything's decorated for Valentine's Day and such. At least for me.
I see.
Yeah.
See, we usually have to book very early for Valentine's Day because everything gets booked up super quick. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Valentine's Day because we're here. We're here to talk to you guys about games.
Indeed, we are. And regarding games, there was a sale, the Lunar New Year sale as well. So Lunar New Year happened this week too. Busy week, hey? And so there's a bunch of sales going up. So if anyone did pick up anything, go ahead and let us know what great deals you found. But besides that, so what have we played this week? And so, Rhodey, what did you been up to this week?
Right, let's see. So, I did pick up some. You play the graphic. Play graphic.
Oh yes, well played. Yes, there we go.
So, I did pick up a few games in the sale as well, but only one of them's appeared, so I'm gonna have to speak to Steam about that.
Ooh.
I picked up Spellforce 1 and 2, Platinum Edition and whatever Deluxe Edition or whatever, and they've not appeared. And I also picked up that game that we reviewed, Alba, a wildlife adventure, from the people who did Assemble with Care, because I was like, I'm really curious to see how that plays and everything. It does look like super, relaxing, but you're also like cleaning up the town, like this nice seaside town and everything. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to play it, and I hope it has like a super chill soundtrack like Assemble with Care does. That would be so great. But what I played this week is a game called Photographs, which we did speak about on the podcast. And that was an interesting, very, very interesting game. You have these sorts of you have these 5 people each with their own story about how life has gone wrong for them. Like there'd be like a decision they've made and that their life suddenly goes badly. And every sort of part of the story, to click on to make it go further, you'll do like some kind of puzzle, and the puzzles will be sort of the same for each person, if you get me, kind of like the same theme. So someone will, I think the second person is like a diver, and they're trying for the championships and everything, this girl, and the puzzle will be about how to get this ball into the water. You've got to ricochet it off things to get it into the body of water. And by the end of the story, you've got to pick who is worthy to make to change that decision. So I've only played it through once, so I can play through. I've played it through once, so now I can go back and play whatever stories that interest me. There were quite some really harsh stories in there about, it's if you want sort of something that maybe doesn't have a happy ending, this is definitely something for you. I mean, the artwork's very nice, the stories are very interesting, and it's nice and short as well. The puzzles, they're not too difficult. There is a bit of a challenge, I would say, on the last one, but mainly they're fairly logic puzzles, easy to get through.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's quite good. The second game that I played was Timpu's Treasure. This is another game that we talked about on the show. It's a point and click game. Not in a traditional sense that there's like inventory management. And it's like using that voxel, those graphics. What you have is like you have 2 slots where you can you can look at something and you can also interact with something, and you're given certain tasks to find items for the townsfolk, and when you interact with that item, it will go into that slot, and they will always ask for like 2 things, so you interact with those 2 things that you're looking for, and then it will give you a little tick and say, you found it, and then it will go to a cutscene and you'll get a bit more of the story. You are a treasure hunter. You've been hired by the town because someone's been leaving notes around to find this secret treasure, and the town's a bit short on the old cash monies, so they really want you to find this treasure for them, and you're doing this treasure hunt, and it's finding all the townsfolk's secrets.
No.
Yeah, so it's like it can be a bit embarrassing for the townspeople, but it's really great. However, there is one like secret in the town that I found that I just found like super disturbing, even for like the game, because most of the game stuff, it was really quite light and quite funny, and then there was this one thing that was just like, eesh, why? It was not great.
Very sudden tone shift.
Yeah, completely. And the way they dealt with it was just like, oh well, that's a shame, isn't it? Yeah, well, you're not responsible, your dad was, but don't worry about it. And it was just like, no, this is major. Yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, they could have, if you're gonna have something like so serious, handle it better, or just don't have that kind of story in there at all. Like, have something a bit more lighthearted. So if you're not going to address it properly. Yeah. And I continue playing The Adventures of Fat Man. I'm nearly towards the end.
Oh, good. I was wondering if you were going to survive this one.
It's been a trial, but I'm getting there. And I also picked up like DLC of the Glass Masquerade 2, because they were doing like a special with like Valentine's Day and the Lunar Festival and everything. So yeah, I've been playing through that as well, and I accidentally wiped my file, so I had to play through it all again. I don't mind, because I've like forgotten obviously most of how the puzzles go, so it's quite kind of nice like going through it again. So yeah, so I'm all right with that.
And it's pretty, and this is pretty kind of one of those sort of veg out, relax, just enjoy the experience kind of games. Yeah, you put to bed all the puzzles. That's neat.
Definitely. But that's been my week. What about you?
Well, for me, I start out with going through my Humble. So Humble Bundle has a bunch of games that are in. They have no DM. No, wait. What's that term? They're just a file. You can download them and have them forever. There's no DRM. That's the term. Yeah. DRM. So they have a bunch of no DRM games. A lot of these are also on Steam, and so I got these, of course, for free with my Humble subscription. And one of those first ones was Alt 254. So this is, I would call it an artsy game in that you play as a single pixel. So this is like this is not an 8-bit game, this is a 1-bit game. Like very, very small, very low graphically.
Wow.
It's clever. It has an interesting premise, but as far as gameplay, I didn't like it. So I played it for about an hour or two, and solving puzzles and such, and there was some really neat creativity, but overall it's just not enthused with it. I think this would be interesting for someone who's wants to take a design class, or I think it's intellectually interesting as a game, trying to see how limited you can go. That there's virtue in that. It's just I wouldn't call it a great game, because though it is self-imposed restraint, I think the self-imposed restraint just sort of takes away a lot of what I enjoy about games. So yeah, that is Alt 254. I also played a game we talked about last week called Slay the Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Very visually pretty. I think they're speaking Swedish. So it just sounds like gobbledygook to me. But if you've ever played Magicka, I think the characters in that are speaking a form of Frisian, and so it just sounds like garbled English. But it's not. It's actually an actual language, and that's what this is, and it's kind of cute. It's charming. I'm sorry, Swedish folks, but to the untamed English ear, that's what it kind of sounds like. But there's not a whole lot of variety of monsters. They're all kind of like these acorns that are wrapped around in a different elemental shell.
Right.
Kind of weird. The bosses are quite creative, though, and actually it's quite a challenging game. It's not very long, about an hour. So this is one that I wouldn't say I won't not recommend, because it's free, for one. And there's a lot of quality here. I just think the gameplay itself was a wee bit repetitive, and just the movement and combat just it wasn't connecting with me with using the controller. So it needs some polish, it needs some tightening up. When you're playing the big sister, she's such a brat to her little brother, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so mad at this character, and you're playing as her. But it's suppose she redeems herself in that she saves the little brother in the end. But I was just like, this girl.
It's a shame about the gameplay, because everything else looks super polished.
It does, and it's really sweet and darling, and I think the studio has a really bright future. I am glad that this was only an hour and a half, though, because if it was longer, I would have gotten really annoyed at the gameplay.
I think you definitely should write up a review for it, because it's like that kind of feedback. Because it looks like they might do like a longer version of it or something, and I think that kind of feedback would be very useful to them.
Yep. I also went back to an old game that is Darkest Dungeon. It recently had a DLC for the multiplayer, which I wasn't super into the multiplayer. But it didn't end up sucking me back into the actual just gameplay of Darkest Dungeon. So I was just like, oh, I never beat that one boss, so let me get up to that. And so I've been playing that a bit this week. Darkest Dungeon, highly recommend. I've played it for 150 hours, and I only spent like $10 on it. So
that's really good. Good, amazing value.
Amazing value. And for the final game I finished Stormblood with my little brother. So, yay! And I started Shadowbringers, and it's so beautiful. And I'm really excited about where the story goes. So, yeah, that was my week of games.
So you're going to continue on with Shadowbringers now. Are you going to fit this week, do you think? So you maybe by the end of the week you can check out the new trailer.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to be done with I'm going to be done with Shadowbringers in a week, but I will try. Mostly I play it on the weekends with my brother, so it's basically when he and I are both available, we play together.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, it's been a blast, and I was really glad because Stormblood kind of went down in quality. I felt from story from Heavensward.
Yeah, no, I felt the same.
Mm-hmm. And then the post Stormblood patches were really good, and they kept getting better. And then finally, just like Shadowbringers already at the start. I'm like, oh, this is like this is really different. this is something new.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the story, but I felt like after the initial expansion, not the further patches, because I felt satisfied with that. I didn't even want to like play the further patches because it's like, no, for me the story felt like really wrapped up and everything. So I'm like, whatever. But yeah, I have to continue like playing because I'm going to try and wrangle some friends to help me get through some of the dungeons and everything like that, because I don't like playing pickup groups. So yeah, I want to play through it. I want to get it finished. I want to be all up to date, ready for the new expansion.
I don't mind pickup groups as long as I am in a party with either a healer or a tank. Like, just one of them, as long as I know that, okay, I can trust this one person on the party to do their job.
I have a feeling, though, that you're not like the player that people like shout at when they don't do something.
Oh, true,
Whereas I am that player, but I do not play a healer or a tank because I'm just like, huh, what? Oh yeah, I gotta run to this place. I just forget all mechanics. So it's just like I'm like doing like what I'm supposed to be doing as a DPS, but it's like if you need to run in a particular circle or like maneuver or whatever, it's like I'm just like, oh, I forgot what I'm supposed to do for this strategy. It's like so that's why I have to play with people who I know, and we're on voice chat, so they can say, right, for this boss we have to do this, and I'm like, right, gotcha.
Yeah, gotcha. I can do that.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's really helpful because sometimes it's like, okay, I just need to know what my role needs now. Okay, that's it. All right, just that, nothing more. Don't tell me anything else. I'll just do this. So, but yeah. Now we have, before we get to our main event, we have some more catch-up titles, starting in June 6th and running through June 15th. We have several games to talk about. The first of which is, well, starting from June 6th isn't entirely true because it's just the gap. We left off at June 5th, and this is the stuff after that. So first one is, wow, why can't I am terrible at this. There we go. Okay. Is my keyboard not working?
Oh no!
It's on. This is not good.
You need to have like one of these screens that say technical difficulties.
Indeed. Yeah, I think either that or 1 minute. Let me see. Oh no, Steam has frozen. It's not my fault. It's Steam. Okay. All right, so I'm going to exit Steam real quick, and we're going to put up the... I do have a technical difficulties window, I think.
So you're just going to have to dance for people. Be a dancing bear.
That eyebrow action. Indeed, yeah. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Yeah, so there we go. It is back up. Steam, you naughty, naughty beast. Why is it so terrible? All right, so we're going to go to just one of them, store page, and then I'm going to try this again. I was thinking, oh no, why is my keyboard not working? It's like, nope, it's just completely unresponsive. All right, now we're ready. Yeehaw! Okay, Project 1971, Project HELIOS.
Peggy 16.
Is a turn-based strategy game which combines modern warfare, military tactics, and close combat. Firearms and vehicles are scarce, conflicts and hostilities have no end, and the terrible freezing cold annihilates friends and foes in its path.
I love this setting. I really do. Oh my word, it's really cool, and it's sort of XCOM type tactics. Oh, it looks so good. Although I noticed there doesn't seem to be that like percent chance to hit. There probably is a roll for that. They're not like, right next to someone 50% chance to hit sort of thing, like the memes.
Yeah. I do kind of like these sort of like turn-based tactics kind of games. But it depends on how the story is for me. I have to have like both. So yeah, I'm curious about this, but I'm surprised because it's not been picked up more. Because it's like, it looks really well polished, looks like a very interesting setting. I mean, it's 30% off now. It's £13.64, so it's not, the price isn't so bad. So yeah, I'm curious as to why it's not been picked up more. There are a few thumbs down I see.
Yeah, there's so it's interesting because like in both the positive and negative reviews, you have the positive review saying this is so polished, and the negative review is saying it's not polished at all. And I'm just and it's always funny. I think part of it, this is the sort of XCOM genre of tactics. It's a really dangerous genre to get involved in because I think there's a lot of opinions around what makes a good example of this game. So many of these people are enjoying it as an approachable tactics, and then some of the folks are like, no, this is like bare bone basics tactics. This is terribly designed. So I think it's a situation where it's like, oh, I'm looking for a more casual experience, or I'm looking for a more complex experience, or something like that might be going on here. So
someone says a clunky, very badly designed game which you should not play for many reasons.
Savage.
Someone says, don't waste your money in this game. Totally simple combat, bad history, and horrible gameplay camera without basic content like graphic options. So it's like they're looking for more like settings to have in the options and stuff, but the design or the combat itself isn't like interesting enough for them.
So there's some of the positive reviews are referencing the good story, but yeah. So it seems pretty divided. I'm guessing looks like a 60-40 positive negative. No, more so than that. I think there's more negative reviews than positive reviews. So yeah. 5 negative to 3 positive reviews.
That's a shame. That's a shame. Because it's one of those things, I think, because it's not like one of those genres that you have like tons of people going for. It's not one of unless it's someone like a big name like XCOM or something like that. It's like you have to be very specific about who you aiming this at. If it's like you're going for more basic combat, you should really say that, so people that are looking for a more challenge don't pick it up.
Yeah, I think I'm going to add this to my wish list just because I'm so curious what it's like, because so far I've been reading the negative reviews and the positive reviews, and I'm getting a picture of like, I don't know, I feel like I need to find it out myself because I just don't know. And I'm not usually into these types of tactics games. I like the grid, well, this is sort of grid based, but I like the grid based, more pixel art fantasy setting. Whereas this is more guns and cover and all that and all that such. I might have to try this out. Maybe it'll get me into XCOM. We shall see. But yeah, that is it is $17.49, so it is not cheap, but that's currently with a 30% off. So yeah, and it's developed by Reco Technology, which is a studio in Madrid, Spain. Our next title is Hopbound.
A meaningful, story-driven, psychological horror action platformer game with nostalgic charm.
Tag.
Yeah. Platformer, horror, pixel graphics, anime, retro. Oh my god, so many. Really hitting the tags. I find it peculiar how the character looks like this little rectangle, and then looks
you have
like a pint of beer.
It does.
Looks at it.
Yeah, it does look like a pint of beer, and then you have like all the characters in the cutscenes and such that don't look anything like it. So I'm curious how it lines up.
I like the way it moves, and there are like these nice little mechanics going on that you can you're jumping on a train and stuff like that, and which then crashes through buildings. So it's really it flows really nicely.
Mm-hmm. And this is developed by Darius Emmanuel de Guerrero. He's from the Philippines, and he's created quite a few games. He made Dare Evil.exe. He made Artificial Iridescence, Puzzling Peaks exe. So he's quite a prolific developer.
Wow, yeah.
But yeah, it's and apparently all of these games. When I looked on his website, he said all these games occur roughly in the same universe. So there'll be little nods to each of the games in every game that he makes. So, although that could have been out of date, who knows? Maybe Hopbound is the exception. But that was at least his intention at one point, reading the blog on his website. So, but yeah,
the way it looks, I'm not like the biggest fan of the color palette, but you know, if it's like I guess a minor thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not it's serviceable. But yeah, I really don't like that yellow and greenish. Yeah, it's not that. Yeah. I don't like that.
The player avatar is also the least interesting looking character. Like the monsters are all really unique, and I feel like if the player character just had a bit more a character to it, a bit more shape to it, it would feel like it would fit in more. Because right now it does stand out, which maybe that's intentional to make sure you don't lose yourself on the screen. But yeah. I feel like you go a little more, the art on the main character. So.
It's only £1.69, and people are clocking in about like 2 to 4 hours or something like that. So yeah, it's quite nice.
Yeah,
nice little one to pick up.
Yep, the animation's really fluid, sweet. Yep, so check it out.
And it's currently at 94% positive with 18 user reviews.
Our next title is A Hand with Many Fingers.
Unravel a real conspiracy from deep within the CIA's archives. Search classified documents and follow new leads in this non-linear investigative thriller. And excuse my tripping up over my words.
So this has a pretty clever premise. I'm gonna have to do more research on this because but they at least claims to be that. So this is basically an unclassified CIA operation or whatever, and it's sort of you connecting the threads of how you could figure out. Oh wait, it was all this. It was all caused by this, which I mean would be pretty cool. I could think it would be neat to have a game, based around like the Gulf of Tonkin or something. Other conspiracies that have proven to be true. It's a cool premise. I like that idea of you sort of piecing everything together. That's pretty fun. I don't know if this is specifically a true one. I would have to do a ton of research to do that. But yeah,
I really, really like the look of this, and I like those kind of like detective kind of stories and stuff, and yeah, just really interesting. It's only like $1.99. It's 50% off right now. The only complaints people have said is that it's the ending's really underwhelming. But the idea of this game is you find clues searching through the archive and slowly discovering the connections, figuring out what happened is quite rewarding, people are saying. So yeah, I'm this is like kind of ticks all those boxes for me. So yeah, I've put it on my wish list.
Yep. And it's developed by Celestia, which is a small studio in Canberra, Australia.
Yeah, and it's just a couple of hours long, $1.99, 50% off, and it's standing at 81% positive with 54 user reviews.
That's $2.49 US. Our next title is The Hand of Glory.
Oops. Sorry, it's load. Oh dear. The challenge of a dangerous serial killer plummets Detective Lazarus Bundy's career into a chasm with no way out. In a desperate attempt at a comeback, Lazarus decides to secretly investigate the disappearance of Catherine Mulsberg.
This is the art and animation is charmingly crunchy, I would say.
Yes. Just seeing him on the bike and he's just like, it just looks so weird. Oh my god.
What's your name?
Sharp, the new intern.
My word, it's
Kinesics is a science that studies body.
yeah, you know what? It's definitely not something I would say is very AAA or it's amateur, but it's in a sort of uniform amateur, charming way.
Yeah, it's one of those things that is like, you could say, yes, this person, definitely an artist and everything like that, but it's like, at the same time you look at it and it's like, oh, it's just something doesn't quite look right about it. You know what I mean? It's like someone who can draw, but it's just like not quite, still doesn't look quite right.
Mm-hmm. I'm really curious. The story seems really intriguing, and there's this, I don't know why so many characters have such long scarves, though. Like, including the main character and those other characters. Like, is this a European thing? I don't think so.
It looks kind of weird, but yeah, I mean, there is a free prologue that you can play through, so that might be interesting. I'm really curious to know what people have thought about this. Like people who play a lot of point-and-click games. So yeah, I'm curious because it seems a bit like Broken Sword, that kind of, there's like these historical elements in it that you're trying to solve. That when there's been like a present day crime that's happened, and it takes you through all these historic intrigues, sort of thing.
And Shinji may have the solution. The animators may have just been bad at drawing decks, so just give everyone a scarf.
Yeah. Oh, it's very good, very clever.
Maybe. You never know. But it's got that. It definitely looks like something that a lot of love and effort went into. So I do appreciate that.
I think this was a Kickstarter game.
Oh, really?
I think so, because someone says, I'm a backer of this game, so this review could be somewhat biased. I backed it because it looked interesting, never played the demo or saw a trailer before backing it, and he started playing it after both story parts were done. Oh, okay. All right.
Both story plots, so that means there's two plot lines in the game.
Maybe they've put them together right now.
Let's see.
Since that, both of them are done. Maybe it was like a DLC that uploaded.
Apparently there is 15 hours of gameplay, and full English voiceover. So that's not bad, especially since it's only at 25% off. It's $14.24 US. So
yeah, it's £11.24. So
15-hour story. That's not bad.
Not bad at all. But yeah, see, I'm going to put it on my wish list, because when I go through my wish list, I was like, oh wait, why did I put this game on there?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll look into it a bit more, because I am curious to see other people that I know who enjoy point and click games. I want to know if they've played it and if it was any good, because 97% positive with 34 user reviews. That's pretty good, although if this was a successful Kickstarter, I'm curious how many people backed it, and if they've played it and they've been disappointed and so not put a review, because that actually happens quite a lot. Or I'm curious. Yeah.
Indeed, and a lot of times when you have Kickstarter, they just get a direct download scenario where they don't get a Steam key. They may just get a direct download, so they can't put a review on Steam.
Oh well, no, ones that I've backed, especially for point and click ones, they either get one for GOG or they get a lot of people do go for the Steam key, because that's where all their other games are. So yeah, it's, and I've seen a lot of people just like not bother putting a review because they didn't actually like the game, and they would just put massive complaints in the Kickstarter page instead. It's like, why have you done it like this? So I'm curious.
From a perennial favorite studio of ours, our next title is Popo's Tower.
A colourful, rapid 3D platformer in which a stranded pilot jumps, climbs, and drop kicks their way through a magical island. Climb high towers, run across walls, and make dangerous jumps you deemed impossible.
So this is sort of a parkour platformer where there's wall running, there's grabbing and climbing, and in the sort of charming sock pop graphical style.
It's again, like with all sock pops games, like interesting premise and it, something nice. A small game, nice to play. And this is from season 8 of games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's almost a It's basically, it's always just a demo. It's like, a proof concept where it's like, some other studio could really expand on this idea.
Yeah, it's because it's just under 2 hours long, and it's $2.99. So unless it's something that kind of really grabs you, it's like £3 for a couple of hours.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
maybe
for the low price of $161, you can get 77 games, all of their games. So
all the games. Oh my god!
So if you ever feel like you have nothing to play,
yeah.
Yep, Sock Pop Co. is of course based out of Utrecht, in the Netherlands. Coming up next is Missing Children.
Missing Children is a Japanese horror-themed adventure game about a bully detective searching for reported missing children.
I don't know what they mean by bully detective. I feel like this is probably a direct translation from a Japanese thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what that means. So I feel like, because I was looking it up and I was like, I can't find anything. This must be like they're just taking a Japanese word and translating it to English. And it's like, oh, bully, that looks right.
They haven't got like an about part. They've got, wait, you have to scroll all the way down.
Oh yeah, you have to scroll all the way down. Yep.
But it doesn't give you a lot. Let's see. Missing Children short game. This game is about 40 to 60 minutes long, though the game has 2 endings. This game contains disturbing scenes, implication of child abuse and suicide. Please note that this game is not a typical horror game, but a horror-themed adventure game.
Yeah, so you're basically trying to solve the mystery of what happened. There's not, I don't think there's a creeping monster or anything like that in this game. Yeah. It's just disturbing and horror-based. The studio Chilla's Art is actually 2 brothers, and they've made quite a variety of these Japanese horror-themed games. They made Hanako, The Convenience Store, Akamanto, Stigmatized Property, and so on. They've made a lot of games. About half of which have positive reviews and a half have middling, and then they got one that's mostly negative. So,
well, this one stands up very positive with 89%, 89% with 129 user reviews. So this one's doing pretty well, and it's 10% off right now at £1.88. I really like the look of this. It looks very interesting. I'll be very curious. I hope that it's been fully translated, because I was looking at one of the screenshots that it is in Japanese, but yeah, I'm hoping it's been fully translated.
Yeah, especially, and it might even be helpful because this is of course set in Japan, so it's going to be signs and stuff in Japanese. Hopefully if you hover over it, it's going to give you subtitles, because that might be pertinent to the mystery. So.
Yeah. But I also hope when you speak to people, I hope is it fully voiced, did they say? I'm curious.
There says there's no full audio. I don't think there's any voice in it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, even more important that it's in English, the subtitles are in English.
Yep. Yeah, and it's $269 US. Grim, another title that's grimly titled, but not so grimly in look, I guess, is Evan's Remains.
Years after a boy genius named Evan disappears, a bizarre letter arrives. Evan wants a girl named Dices to come find him. As Dices, you'll need to solve an intricate series of puzzles to unravel the entire mystery and bring Evan home. I guess, do you not bring him home in one piece, though? They already given away the ending.
Yeah, I know, because it's called Evan's Remains, and I'm like,
Yeah.
So you're just gonna find a corpse? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what
bring
that
it
means.
home.
Yep. Yeah, not sure. But the platforming looks great. And this is developed by My1069, also known as Matías Schmied. He is a solo developer and an artist. So he's got some pretty good art.
Yeah, I really like the backgrounds. I like the character designs. Like some of the like when it comes to like the sort of like visual novel bit where they're talking in close-ups, some of the characters there don't look quite right. Like I think her neck looks a little too long. Looks a bit weird.
Giraffe girl, yeah.
Yeah, the giraffe girl. But yeah, everything else just looks like super one, like beautiful.
They should have used scarves. That's what they should have done.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's standing at 91% with 378 user reviews. So yeah, it's
and 100% of the 19 most recent reviews, and it's only $5.59.
Very nice, very nice. Looking about 4 hours. I'm seeing people clocking around about 4 hours. Around about that time. And yeah, so it's £4.15.
Yeah, so it's respectively priced for a shorter game.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's not bad. Well, this might be worth checking out. A good little puzzle platformer, and I'm curious what the story is.
Yeah,
they've got me hooked. Okay, our final catch-up title is Lithium City.
Is a stylized isometric action game set in a neon-drenched world of electricity and violence.
So this is developed by Nico Tuason, who he is a solo dev from the Philippines, father of 5, and he has this fantastic blog that he thought it would just like in his about section would just be this short little blog, and he ended up spending 7 days on it, and it became this really long like saga about how he came from here to here, and it was a fascinating read in that he got his skills in Flash games. So this is the first game on Steam, but he's made dozens of games that were on Congregate, that were on Newgrounds, etc. And of course, he learned those skills by making banner ads because he did the Flash banner ad stuff. That was his jobs originally, and then he released his first game. And instead of making 20k pesos a year, which is not a lot, he made $5,000 US, which is a lot of money in the Philippines. And so then he just kind of got into games, which is sort of, he was only in his 20s, and it was kind of controversial because he's from an Asian family. And then, it's like doctor, engineer, lawyer. Those are the 3 you need to be in. But when he was finally like, hey, look at all the money I'm making, his relatives finally shut up about it. So it's quite a saga. You get to learn all of his family, and you get a fantastic cheesecake recipe. So it's quite the blog. Check out his website. It was a really cool just life story about how he got from here to here. And this particular game, Lithium City, took 10 years for it to come from the first concept to where it is now. He's been making other games in between them, but this one's just been kind of a little earworm that he keeps coming back to.
Oh, nice. So I'm glad, he's made it onto Steam and with 93% positive reviews as well, 129 user reviews. So yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. At first I was not interested in this at all because I thought it might be a stealth game, but apparently it's more of just a brawler beat 'em up because I'm terrible at stealth. So I am actually pretty interested in this now.
Yeah, so it looks. I've seen people around 3 to 4 hours, sometimes 2 hours. So yeah, it's around, say 2 to 4 hours. Would say for this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that priced at all. So yeah, 20% off for 63.
Yep. Yeah, it's only $6.39 USD. But yeah, I totally recommend going to read the blog. He even goes like, this is how this level got created, is because I was psychologically here at this time in my life. And it was just,
You'll have to
it's
put a
real
link
cool.
on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
gonna have to do that because it is a fascinating read for anyone who's interested how creative minds work. It's a great read. And with that, we're up to our releases. The main event of this week are this week's lovely releases, and I'm excited to show you all. Starting with Sunday, February 7th, Frustration Simulator genre, Space Kettle.
Have you ever played a game as a flying kettle? No? It's time to fix this! In this game, your main goal is to reach the top of the unyielding, surreal mountain at any cost, going through the test of inevitable falls, constant loss of progress, and deep frustration. Oh
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I could never play something like this because I just lose my shit at the second time. I'd fall right to the bottom or something. It's like no.
This is just another take on the getting over it with Bennett Foddy. But you're a kettle, yeah. It's fascinating how he just spawned an entire genre with that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one reminds me of Pogo Stuck as well, which is another Bennett Foddy type game. That one, and I don't even have my scene open. Whoops. Okay, but that one, that game infuriated me, and so I figured looking at this game, I was like, I'd be so mad playing this game, so mad. Yeah, I would hate this.
Is it only? I'm wondering how many. Is it just one continuous sort of level, or is it multiple stages?
I believe it's one continuous level, and you can fall all the way back to the beginning if you make the wrong move, kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm seeing under an hour.
Ooh, under an hour. Someone beat it.
Yeah, for a lot of people, there's someone who's clocked in 9 hours, but everyone else are clocked in under an hour. So yeah, it's $3.99.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering how many of these people actually beat it though. A lot of these are early access reviews. Okay, so one of the reviews, under an hour, it only played about 40-ish minutes and didn't get too far. It's fun and addicting, so.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these reviewers didn't actually finish it.
I mean, it's 84% positive with 19 user reviews, so yeah, it's a nice one to pick up if you like to be frustrated with the game.
I think the reason these games are also so popular is kind of streamer bait, because it just makes it so you get the viewers get such schadenfreude watching you play this game. That's basically what it is. It's just you're indulging the sadism of your viewers. But yeah, this was a solo development by Max Kreslavsky, and yeah, it's only $4.99 US. Okay, Wednesday, February 18th, we have the very interesting in concept Sudoku RPG.
Sudoku RPG is a new style of game that combines Sudoku, puzzle, and RPG genres. The only thing that can help a miner who has been named a hero by God's mistake is your excellent brain and concentration.
A hero by God's mistake. I love that line. That's fantastic.
I like the look of this. I love it. I love the look of this. But I really like RPGs though. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I'm ashamed to admit, or it's just kind of like a lot of people as well. I've never played a Sudoku puzzle.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So I just I'm not really very good at numbers. So any kind of like maths or anything, so it's like, you know, it's never really appealed to me. And I do play a lot of puzzle games though, but mainly they're not number based.
Well, this might be a good game to learn Sudoku. It's actually not. It's not as complicated as it seems at first. It's just you're trying to get 1 through 9 in every column, 1 through 9 in every row, and 1 through 9 in every square. So it's and so what happens is there's a certain number of numbers already laid down, and you have to figure out what numbers are left out and which ones you have to put in. So it's a bit of a. It's not math. It's just more of a pattern game, which it's a good way to waste some time.
I think if it's like they had smaller ones, because it's quite. It seems like it's I don't know. It seems like you would be focusing on the Sudoku bit rather than the RPG bit. You know what I mean? I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how they end up melding the two gameplays. Like, do certain numbers have different effects, or I'm really curious about that. And it just it just seems like a clever idea to meld these two things that aren't normally melded together. I love that. One of my favorite games on an old PC was a chess RPG, where it was just chess puzzles, but there was a story as well. So like. Just this, so there's this motivation to get to solve all the different chess puzzles, and that's clever. I like it when games do stuff like that, where they take just one thing and they're like, let's throw it into a universe, a story. This is the main mechanic. So it's just a neat idea.
It is only like around about 2 hours or just under 2 hours. Someone said that. Finished in about an hour, so yeah, it's.
It takes me like half an hour per Sudoku puzzle.
Yeah, I suppose it's like a nice little thing, because I think eventually, if you keep playing that kind of mechanic, it would just get quite annoying. Like with the Murder by Numbers game that I played, the puzzle was just getting really super annoying.
Oh, yeah.
So you bring them in there all the time. But yeah, I would put it on my wish list just to, because I'm really curious about this. And so there's like 50 different monsters. Then they don't want you to finish the puzzle. 10 artifacts and 9 items, increasing difficulty balance, random generated Sudoku puzzle, real-time puzzle battle. So yeah.
And it's only about $2.69 US. So even if it is just a couple hours, that's not bad.
Yeah. And it's at 91% with 12 user reviews. So yeah, interesting. It's interesting.
By Rainbow Studio, which is a small studio based out of Korea. All right. Our next title is Urban Cards.
Is a cutthroat capitalist card battler where cash is king. Make money to build businesses, hire workaholic employees, and robbers to steal from the competition. Create your unique deck of colourful cards and amass a fortune to win. This looks so colourful.
It is very colourful.
Delightful. It just looks so delightful as well. I'm not usually into those deck building games, but this is like piqued my interest.
It does seem to be sort of a sort of satire of business, whereas like I would be. They're definitely going for that direction. I would almost be more interested for more like a card game that's like just very much like more straight up business management. Like a sort of business management sim rather than more of a satire of it. But I think there's a place for the satirical version as well, like this. But it's a cool concept. Monopoly with cards, basically.
I think we have to show Tom this, because I think it might be sort of like up his street, because it has that kind of nice sort of like board game look as well. So he might find it quite interesting. But it's 20% off right now at $10.39. It's at 85% positive reviews with 68 users. I'm just looking at there's been recent updates. as well. It's like build and customize your own deck by choosing from 138 cards. Choose from 3 different factions and their unique starter decks. Opa, Akabara, and Gastown. Carefully manage the different types of cards at your disposal. Business, workers, henchmen, actions, and objects. Accept the challenge and make your way through a procedurally generated campaign with 20 plus events and many hours of replayability. More than dozens of different enemies standing your way of success, from mob bosses to otaku and moneylenders. Get ready to defeat the biggest crook of them all, the government. Collect 30 plus special items to aid you in your quest to make even more money. Play against other humans 1v1.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, the sardonicism's just like, overflowing. It's great. This is developed by HELIOS Games, which is a studio in Vancouver, BC. And yeah, it's $11.99 US. Our next title and last title for Wednesday is Detours.
Players Daniela as she moves across the country with only the help of her ex. So when I first saw this game, I was like wondering whether I should actually put it on the list or not. But because it does look kind of crunchy, but I really like the story. I really like the story and how it's kind of animated. And you're not just in the car; there are other scenes as well where you're sort of talking in bed, or you're going to the pick up food and you're talking to all these townspeople, and as you travel across the country with your ex. So it's. I think I'm going to put this on my wish list because I'm quite curious about the story. It seems so interesting. It's 9% off right now at £4.35. What did I know you think again? It's a bit crunchy. As someone who doesn't play visual novels, what did you think?
Well, it says it's an interactive fiction, which makes me think it might be more. It might be a little less like a visual novel. Because I feel like visual novels are more about choice and variety, whereas this one's more like a picture book. You're going through and clicking different things. But the story's still kind of going in the same direction. I'm trying to see if there's multiple endings or something. But yeah.
It just kind of tells you like how to play rather than. It says it's time to move across the country, and the only person with a car is your ex-partner. Suck it up, your pride, and play through your trip and relationships, road bumps, obstacles, and detours. Witty dialogue and moments of quiet, human connection are interspersed on a trip that reflect the oddities and struggles of Midwestern drives.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And it looks like it's about an hour and a half. At least that's the longest review. Is an hour and a half. So yeah, and it's $5.49 USD.
Nice. Yeah. Not bad.
All right. From Thursday, February 11th, we have The Room 4, Old Sins.
Let's see. The disappearance of an ambitious engineer and his high society wife provokes a hunt for a precious artifact. The trail leads you to an attic in their home and the discovery of an old, peculiar dollhouse. What secrets lie within these walls? I'm like, so I've played all of the iteration apart from the VR version of The Room. And the last one, I only got the very bad ending. I haven't played like the good ending yet because I was kind of like, oh no, I don't want to. And these games are priced so, like, I feel like they're underpriced because they are like they take quite a few hours to complete.
Yeah, and they're only like $9.
Yeah, it's like $6.99. It's like, wow. And they look so well. It looks really well polished. The puzzles are very clever, and it has this like really creepy kind of atmosphere to it as well. And it's just like, it's just really, really well done. It's really well done.
And it's really interesting just how low priced it is in that it's Fireproof Games. They're not like an Eastern European studio. They're in the UK, so it's not like they have they can take a lower price because they live in a lower income country. It's like no, it's but they price it low, and I guess it pays off because they sell quite a few copies.
Yeah, I mean, like right now it's 98% positive, as I suspect it would be, but with 719 user reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I was watching someone stream this, and yeah, it looks very much just to be just as high quality as the previous 3. Because the guy I was watching stream on YouTube, crossplay gaming, he played the previous 3, and he was very much enjoying Room 4. It's like, yeah, it's more of the room. So it's what I bought, what I paid for. I don't know if it's better or worse, but it's at least hitting the notes that the players expect from the series.
Yeah. It's I'll pick this up eventually for sure. Probably after I've played through more of the different endings of the Room 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try and get that the super happy ending. I need to do that.
Yep. All right, coming up next, The Commission 1920.
Stake your claim on the city of New Shore in this gritty simulation of 1920s organised crime. As the Don, get involved with the rackets and politics that defined the Prohibition era. Claim your place among mafia history. How will you rule New Shore?
Prohibition era US is like my favorite period of time. It's just so interesting. Yeah. So much was happening. I love games that are sort of set in this era because it's like the US, particularly in US history, the really exciting points is, of course, the early stuff. Then there's the Wild West, where it's just crazy, and then the 1920s are just where just the whole country is just insane. Yeah. And it's just a fascinating setting. The style was cool. You have all these different elements: the government, the mafia. It's just so cool. It's so cool. And jazz. And what's not to like? I love the setting. I don't even know very much about the simulation gameplay, but I love the setting.
Yeah, it's as with a lot of simulation games, lots of menus. It looks very well done. The UI looks quite nice, and everything looks within it. That Art Deco kind of theme as well, which is quite nice, and these little details. Yeah, it seems very, very involved. Very involved. I don't think this is like an entry level simulator.
Oh no.
Management simulator. No.
Yeah, this is definitely not. But it looks like it'd be cool, and figuring out how the systems will work will be really fun. You can choose one of 5 families to start as, so I guess there's 5 different ways to play through the game then, because you have the Bogianas, the Kalesis, the Donanos, the Hunios, and the Rokas, and each of them are different. So the Bogianas are wealthy, the Kalesi are like a really honorable crime family, the Donanos are this really kind of shadowy, secretive one, and the Hunios are like just kind of the really more bodacious and showy ones, and then the Rokas are just bloodthirsty. So it's just like you've got all these different approaches. That's really cool. So hopefully that reflects in the gameplay. So there's at least 5 playthroughs you can do of this.
And it's 20% off right now at £9.11. That's not too bad for like a management game, because these usually go on for many hours. So yeah, it's a pretty good price.
And there was a previous one, The Commission, which is Organized Crime Grand Strategy, that was released back in 2018. So that looks like this was... and this one was set in the 1930s, so I guess they moved 10 years back into the 1920s.
There's not enough user reviews to generate a score, but we're seeing a few, one negative and the rest positive. So, yeah.
Okay.
If it's up your street, then maybe this is for you.
Next up is Potentia.
Oh, did I miss one?
Oh, did I miss one? Oh, HEIS.
Yes.
That's right, HEIS. HIIS. HEIS.
HEIS is an open-world sandbox experimentation game full of mystical vegetation, concealed secrets, and powerful potions. Domesticate the wild plants to farm them, brew elixirs from their products, and experiment to document their effects.
Yeah, this game seems almost like a toy box, or because the potions do a lot of really weird things. Like one of them is a grow big potion, so just you can make something get really big, or you can bring something to life, or light things up, and there's just all these little interesting things you can do, just with these little potions. So
nice. Yeah, very curious. I don't know. It's kind of something I would be like interested in playing because I like the fact that you're just like trying different things and making all these different potions and everything and seeing what works. But I'm wondering like how much gameplay there is.
Yeah. Is there a guided aspect to this game? Is there a goal you're trying to reach to? Because that definitely makes it more attractive to me because I'm not a sandbox player.
Yeah, I don't like just being given like, say, there you go, do whatever you want kind of thing. It's like, yeah, I need like an aim, a task, and like if it's like, oh, make like 5 different potions or something, that'd be nice, and yeah, a little bit of guidance, so I know what, like when I'm coming towards the end of like what I need to be playing through, sorts of thing. You know what I mean? It's like, have I gotten all the potions? Have I gotten like all the plants or whatever? It says there are 30 plus plants to discover, 40 plus potions to experiment with. Oh yeah, there are. So complete quest with the potions you make. You are able to help dozens of people, listen to their problems, and go through countless experiments to find the perfect potion for their puny problems. Interesting.
Puny problems.
Someone said coconut potion alone makes it the best. 99 euros I've ever spent. Interesting.
Coconut potion. I have no idea what that would do.
Oh my god. But it's $7.99, and there's currently only 2 years of reviews. So yeah, I might put this on my wish list and something I might pick up later. I don't know, just something might be nice to play around with. I might wait till it's on a sale though.
All right. Yeah, and that's $9.99 US. Next up. Next up is Potentia.
Third-person shooter action-adventure game with post-apocalyptic theme. Witness the adventures of Victor and his friends in an abandoned world.
Yeah, so this is just slightly inspired by The Last of Us. Very clearly, it's got a very a lot of visual similarities and themes going on, but I don't think there's zombies. This is made by a Turkish studio, and looking at the reviews, folks seem to really like it.
Yeah, it's at 81% positive with 105 reviewers. So yeah, it looks interesting. There's some visual things I don't like. Like there's still some things that are a bit crunchy, like the action sequences. Like the motion blur's a bit weird on some aspects, and like when you're firing, something looks a bit off with the animation. Yeah,
it's very clearly not an A grade game in that area. They've got the environments. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'm not sure it's even AA. Maybe single or B, but it is. But the environments are pretty nice. The character designs are neat, and the dialogue scenes look pretty well done. So, despite the animation being kind of crunchy, it at least looks interesting.
Yeah, and there's a free trial as well. So that's pretty good. It's 10% off right now at $17.99.
Yeah. So apparently it's like set in a sort of Cold War, but a post-apocalyptic Cold War. Interesting. All right.
Okay.
Next up, Lumiland.
A Sokoban-like 3D puzzle game in a colourful, stylized world of light and shadow.
Oh yeah, so little bits of the world get revealed as you travel around it. Interesting.
Okay. The character design is just a bit weird. I don't know if I like it or not. Especially the shadow one. It just looks like looks like kind of like a gummy bear almost.
Yeah, exactly, a gummy bear.
But more disturbing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is very much an odd design, but it looks like it's fun puzzling though. Yeah, I think the character design is one gripe I have about it. The actual like puzzle and the whole like shifting world, that has a nice aesthetic.
Yeah. It's 25% off right now at £3.59. It's not enough user reviews, unfortunately. But yeah, there's over 50 levels.
I've seen this dev on Twitter. I think it is a solo dev. Well, but just by seeing their progress and how they talk, they tend to use I and not we. So I suspect that it's a solo dev. But yeah, Mien, and it is $4.49 US, 25% off. All right. Our next title is Lost Angel.
Lost Angel is the first feature-length interactive FMV made in Korea. We invite you to the dangerous journey of influencer Alex, who is on a trip to Korea. Your choice will soon become a new story for this film. So I really like FMV games. When I saw this, I was thinking, "Oh, this might be interesting," and then I was watching it, and I thought, "Oh no,
oh no!"
Acting is so crunchy, which is a shame because it seems like such an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I think they've shot it in Busan, which I have gone to visit. So yeah, it's definitely sort of like an ideal place to go and film. It's like very, very interesting place. But yeah, it's I'm curious to play this, but I'm going to wait till it goes on even more of a discount, I think. Oh.
Yeah, the acting was really crunchy and like, I was like, ugh. But it's at the same time, that's part of the charm of these sometimes.
Oh yeah. It's like, it's fine if I think when they ham it up, but when they're playing it like serious and yet it's still very crunchy. It's like, oh no, what are you doing? So someone says the plot is a bit far-fetched and the acting isn't perfect, especially when they fall down, but overall an entertaining game with many branches and choices that change the course of events. So
at least that would be interesting, just sort of seeing all the different permutations that you can get to happen. That's one thing that's really fun with these. Lost Angel.
It's about they wrote this it took them 2 hours to get to the end, I think, but they've clocked in like 3.5, so I guess there's different endings. There's like various stories, 9 interesting endings. There's Chinese subtitles and all locations shot in Korea, but the interactive film is in English. So yeah, and it's 40% off right now at £9.29. I'm gonna wait until it comes down a bit more, I think. But there's 15%. There's 15 positive reviews. 15 user reviews, and it's 73% positive.
So it looks like it might be a fun romp. Yeah, and it's $11.99 US. So for 3 hours, it's probably a good idea to wait on a sale. On a steeper. That's already 40% off. It's normally $20.
Yeah.
All right. So for Friday, February 12th, our next title is Lost to Time.
Lost to Time is a time pause focused 2D action platforming Metrovania game with a carefully crafted world to explore in a non-traditionally fantasy RPG fashion. In order to overcome insurmountable odds, Krona must manipulate the flow of time in order to gain advantages over opponents. Oh my god, there's so much like...
Lots of word salad.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It does have a really interesting aesthetic. Some of the pixel art I'm not a huge fan of. There's clearly a limited... But I think it's also interesting to praise because I feel like there's a limited degree of pixel art skill here, but they did like the maximum they could with that skill. Like they did a pretty good job of kind of concealing that sort of... I'm not super excited about the textures, but they did a really good job of sort of increasing variety to the degree where the sort of not great done texture work just kind of disappears.
I'm not a fan of the way it looks at all. There are some like interesting visuals, especially when the fighting is concerned. I think that's like really good. But I think the backgrounds they should have. It's just not that.
Yeah, no, the backgrounds are not good.
No.
Happy Valentine's Day, Godless Weeb. Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day.
But yeah,
it's like, it's like I wish this was better because the animation is so solid. You know what I mean? It's.
Yeah, the animation is really good, but even the character art isn't that great. The animation is good. But it is a very different looking Metroidvania, that's for sure. It doesn't run on a grid. It seems to have more varied topography going on, but it's just not that pretty.
Yeah. This is a large world to explore, seamlessly and meticulously connected, overcome many bosses, foes, and puzzles, all of which may require the use of your time control abilities. Play and level up various playable magi found throughout the game. Magi serve as your weapon. Various RPG elements, including a crafting system, level up, build system, and much more. Replay the game as different builds, utilize different magi, etc. A mysterious story with multiple endings and secrets.
So clearly a lot of design work and love went into this. So it's just... I wonder if the artist didn't have another... I wonder if they contract this art, or is this just the developer's art doing this?
Yeah.
It's
40% off right now with £6.17. There are currently no user reviews. Well, there's one. But yeah, I dinged and donged, then died, only to live and ding again. 10 out of 10.
Okay, well, that's helpful. But yeah, it's 40% off at $7.79 USD. Yeah. It is a Metroidvania, so I feel like this might be up Godless Weeb's realm if he wants to check it out. All right, our next title, Osteoblasts, from our known studio that we've talked about before, Moonana.
Well, Osteoblasts is a dungeon crawler skeletal RPG about skeletons, by skeletons, and for skeletons. If you are not undead, leave this page immediately, else you'll face the law of skulls and bones. Wow, I've been told.
It's quite cute. There's really clever. It almost has a Undertale flavor to it, I suppose. But this is by Moonana, who is a studio that also did. They did that game, Dethrone Virgo versus the Zodiacs, which is another
interesting visuals. I think they've definitely improved upon the visual aspect. In some ways,
And they have another game, Key Locker, that's not yet out though. It's supposed to come out sometime, but when it's ready. So they are actively developing yet another game, so that's cool to see.
Nice. And there's a demo for this game, so you can try before you buy. It's 25% off right now at £4.34. I'm trying to see. Is there anything? Here we go. So you play a spooky, scary skeleton raised from the dead by a mysterious cat, a cat witch. in a journey to find purpose. You get to choose a class and go on frightening adventures, battling your nemesis, the dogs who unburied you from the depths below.
Okay, now the dog enemies make a lot of sense. Where you're made of bones and they want your bones. That's really funny and cute. Oh my word.
Single character, multiple classes, items, abilities, and spells, randomized loot fixes which change your skills when equipped, multiple endings, bare bones battle system, heartless story, brain dead hard difficulty.
Yeah.
Nice.
This just looks really cool. It's really interesting. I might have to put this on my wish list. I'm very curious about it. It is only $5.99 USD too.
Nice, yeah, it's pretty cheap. And there's only 4 user reviews currently.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
But Moonana, I think, has proved themselves with their past games, and I just like how each of their games is a very different aesthetic style, but they still all kind of have that Moonana touch. So it's hard to explain, but they're very big on just doing these really unique visuals. All right, our final game of the week is Mini Countries.
A level-based strategy puzzle game where you have to build up a resource transport network for a country.
This looks oddly satisfying. I was watching the trailer earlier. It was just like, oh, this feels like it's like itching a part of my brain, going like, oh yes, order. Let's arrange things to work properly.
Yeah, no, same. I like Transport Tycoon, and taking one thing to another place and making everything just work like very nicely, but you're doing this for a country, so it's to build up a country. So I'm really curious. So you build trade buildings to produce resources in your country, make sufficient storage buildings available, transport resources from storage buildings to demanding cities, choose new items each month to bring your country forward, plan your resource production according to different seasons, upgrade resources by constructing industry buildings, import resources which are not produced in your country, export resources to generate knowledge, integrate famous landmarks to your country, decide on one branch for the development of your cities. Worker cities allow trade and industry buildings to produce resources faster, and science cities improve the growth rate and thus the generation of further knowledge points. Interesting.
Yeah, it seems really cool. There's a lot of there seems to be a lot of. It has an extremely simplistic graphical design, but I feel like it actually works really well with this, with a sort of sim game that it is. I think they could have done a bit more texture work, but at the same time, the bright colors, just the good palette that all seems to match together. It was well done. This is a solo dev, Yheeky Games, based out of Germany too. So
very, very nice. I think I'll put this on my wish list. It's £7.19. I'm not sure how long the game is, but with these games, they usually take quite a while anyway. So, and if that's the case, it's definitely worth the price. Although I will wait for the sale because I'm cheap.
It's $9.99 USD. Which I would probably wait for a sale as well. But yeah, it's I'm not super into sim games usually, but some of them just have this nice like kind of limited scope, really nice design that just feels satisfying to play in. So this looks like possibly one of those. Okie doke. And with that's all of our games for the week. And so the question comes, like, what was your favorite game of the week? And are you ready for that?
I am ready for that. Let's show what's the best.
Best of the week. Very best. The very best. Oh, it is snowing a ton out there. Wow. I just look out the window anyhow. All right.
So I'm going to pick one from the Catchup list, and one from the recent list. So I'm gonna go with A Hand with Many Fingers. It's just something that, like speaks to me a lot about detective work and uncovering conspiracies and stuff like that. It's just simple gameplay. I'm not sure if I would stream it or if I would just play it by myself, because it's kind of like, is it like visually interesting enough to stream? I'm curious, but yeah, it's interesting to me. From the new list, I'm definitely gonna play The Room 4. I mean, that's definitely like one of the picks. But I think also Lost Angel. I would love to stream that, and just, especially if like the acting's really bad, I think that would be a lot of fun to just watch and laugh at. I know that's really mean.
Misery loves company kind of thing. Yeah.
It's like watching so bad it's good movie with your friends, and you can just have a laugh together. Oh, but yeah, it still looks like the settings and everything look very polished. The filmography looks great, but if the acting's pretty bad, that is a shame. Should have done something with that, but I'm glad that there's some nice FMV games out there to play. So yeah, I'm curious about it.
There does seem to be a timer on the FMV though, so I'm hopefully they have like a non-timed way, maybe. I don't know.
No, that's like a few other FMV games, because it puts you under pressure on making a decision right away. It's like, this is you can either do this or you can either do this. It's like, hurry up, which one is it? I played a game called Last Shift that had those mechanics, and I played it on stream, and I couldn't interact with my audience because things were just going so fast, and I had to make a decision. And it was the second time I'd played through it, because the first time I played through it, I got the worst ending. So yeah, I wanted to play it again so I could get the good ending. So yeah.
All right. For me, for my catch-up list, it's going to be Lithium City is my favorite there. Not even necessarily because the gameplay is the most interesting to me, but just because this game has a lot of story behind it, and it's made me really curious about it. I wanna check this out. It's not too long, and it's not a stealth game, so I might really want to try this out. So, and it's got a cool setting, cool aesthetic to it all. But yeah, Lithium City. And from this week's a lot harder. There's a lot of really good games that came out. I think I'm gonna have to go with Potentia. Just because I am very curious about how well the story goes. I've seen some reviews that people quite liked it, and it's got that Eurojink charm that I just wanna check out and see if it is. I played through The Last of Us with a group of friends on hardest settings. We would pass off the controller each time we died. I wouldn't mind playing this with someone, particularly if my brother moves in. So. Yeah, Potentia. Nice. Okay, with that, wow, we're at the end. So, Rhodey, where can the internet find you? What are you up to this next week?
I really want to stream. I really want to get back to streaming. There's, luckily I've like kept playing some games on my Steam list to whittle them down a bit. But yeah, I'm definitely going to like stream at some point on twitch.tv/RhodeyPie. But yeah, and if I don't, you'll still see me on the podcast next week.
Absolutely, and of course, don't forget to check out our Steam curator list. We've got that there. And of course,
Indeed. Indeed.
Yes. But yeah, as for me, I will be of course back next week, and this time hopefully with a guest. Valentine's Day is a hard time to book people because folks have plans. So
I had my steak din, so I was happy. Well, I haven't had steak.
Steak, yeah. But yeah, so that with that, have a lovely week, everyone. It is so snowy outdoors right now. It's so pretty. So I'm gonna go for a walk in the snow. That's what I'm gonna do. And with that, farewell, YouTube. Please like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Bye bye.